SAS Sergeant Major Billy Billingham of SAS Who Dares Wins. Round of applause for Billy. Great. Comes in with a question straight away, of course. They're in the Walsall Arboretum.
That's my hometown.
Is it?
Yeah.
You've not been told about it?
I love them.
You like them, do you?
I've just unveiled a statue in Walsall last week of the Queen herself.
Okay, there's no complaint about that, but it's just that Facebook's lit up about it. But then it always does. We keep doing statue stories. They don't look like the real people. How's the Queen one look? Does that look good?
It's actually really good, yeah.
Not with Prince Philip, it's not that one.
No, it's just on her own, which is...
Because there's one with the Queen and Prince Philip, and in Ireland.
It's awful, I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like League of Gentlemen. Anyway, Billy has been talking about his life in a tour called Always a Little Further. And what's exciting is it's been extended, right? So
it has, yeah.
So you're committed to now moving around the country telling your story, which is great.
Yeah, I start off in Bristol in 2 weeks' time. On the 14th, I think it is, or the 12th, I can't remember. 14th.
Yeah, it's all up there.
Yeah, there you go. And there's all the locations, and yeah, and then I finish off in Folkestone, and then back in again in April. So.
And talking about your time in the SAS?
No, it's talking about everything. It's people ask me what it's about. Is it inspirational, motivation? And I always say I'll let you decide. I take people on a journey from where I grew up, how I grew up, which wasn't good on my behalf. Mm-hmm. To changing my life and how I did that, influential people, trials, tribulations, learning things, getting things wrong, and then turning my life around to finding the military, which saved me really.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And then my time in the military, now that panned out. I did 9 years of the parachute regiment, and then I decided, where do I go from here? And I went to the SAS, which was like, to me, the next biggest challenge, and it was. And why I went there and what I did there. I don't go into secrets and operational stuff. I talk about what it was like, because people, you know, you read things, you hear things, you don't really know what it's like. And actually, I didn't until I went there. And I just talk about how different that world really was and what great things they do.
The world is full of people who just missed getting into the SAS. Have you these guys who, you know what I mean?
Oh,
There's somebody I know says, you know, I was like 2 seconds off the run. There's a famous run.
Like blokes who had a trial.
Yeah, they were in it, but they just said, I'm sorry, you've missed it by 2 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to do it, but...
Yeah, do you feel like it?
Yeah, but then I've met so many people who apparently are in the SAS, and actually, they weren't.
The fantasy people, the Walter Mitty's thing
Correct.
is a real problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they get exposed now, though.
Yeah, they do, but there's still a lot out there. I can't believe
Really?
they still do. Oh, yeah. I mean, the ones I've met, if you know, there's only 3 people on that balcony on Prince's Gate, but apparently the amount of people I've met, that balcony must be the size of Tesla's car park.
Well, it's interesting you said. So let's have a look. This is 1980.
Yeah.
This is the siege on the Iranian embassy. I was talking to the producers downstairs because they're all in their 20s. They don't remember this. It's absolutely seminal. I was 15. The TV cut to a live shot. There we are. They blow it out with a... Will you tell us that's a stun grenade, right?
No, that's what we'd call a window charge.
Okay.
It's
pretty serious.
Explosives. Yeah.
My friend was in there. He was a Syrian journalist called Mustafa Karkuti.
What?
Yeah, he was
in
the embassy, and he was caught out with all of this. Mustafa Karkuti, he died a few years ago.
Okay,
right.
I thought I misheard it. So then it catches fire. But the amazing thing is Thatcher had just come to power, and this thing played out on live TV. I'm not sure whether any of the terrorists were taken alive.
Yeah, there were.
Were they?
One was taken alive.
Okay, one was, yeah.
Yeah.
But none of the hostages died.
No.
Most incredible operation.
Unbelievable. I mean, you know, you're really up against it.
Yeah.
They're in a place, they booby-trap the place, they're in a place of their control, and it's a big call to go in there. You literally are sacrificing your life for the sake of others.
Yeah, and you came down, I mean, it was before you joined, only a year before you joined, I think, actually.
I joined the army 2 years after.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I mean, that was the first time, like everybody else, that you'd heard of the SAS.
That's the time they were all in secret until they... But also the weirdness of allowing the TV stations to carry the raid live, so that you literally see... We saw the SAS drop onto the roof before the hostage takers did inside the building. Were you watching it, Jeff?
No, but I can remember getting, when I was a kid, like a Partworks thing. Do you remember those magazines that you would go and that was like one whole thing was on that? And yeah, it's the kind of stuff of legend,
it
isn't
really
it?
is.
It's daring and it's bravery. And I think, with the show that the guys do now, I think that there's something about that resilience, in the age we live in that really speaks to people. The way that they level with people about who they are and what they're doing and the uncompromising. I think it harks back to a time where we think maybe we've lost a bit of that.
Yeah, so someone's got a book out. I think Ben McIntyre's just got a book called The Siege Out about the SAS embassy. Going back to the show, to Who Dares Wins, I saw it was trending last week because of the John Barrowman incident. Let's have a look at this.
You see the doctor?
No, I'm done.
What do you mean you're done? You've got to go here. Why?
I know, I'm done.
Why?
I've set him out.
Yeah, but what?
It's not for me. I know who I am, I know what I'm about, it's not for me.
After only 32 minutes on base, number 13, John, is the first recruit to leave the course.
People were saying he's the worst contestant, not just on that show, but on any show.
That was just so disappointing.
Yeah, he vomited and then he resigned.
Yeah, I mean, he allowed fear to take control of... He realised it wasn't, we're going to stop and go to the green room, and it doesn't work like that. This is it's tough.
There's no makeup room. Or...
And then he realised what he's really in for and decided, I'm done, which is a shame. It was a waste of a space for somebody that could have got a lot more out of it.
Very poor.
Yeah, very.
He'll regret it. And I don't. Why was he vomiting anyway? Was that fear or?
Probably fear, yeah, because we hadn't done anything really physical at that point.
He was
only being shown around.
I mean, the thing is, I'm kind of laughing, but the bit where you put like the bag on, you spin around three. I'd be crying then. That bit, I'd be so disoriented. I'd go, I'm out. I'm a celebrity. I'd get confused. Get me out of here.
Some people, if you take their mobile off them, they vomit.
I'd cry.
It's a well-known reaction. So. I must ask you about a couple of other things, right? So I know Yasmin will fire up now when I mention this. The Boris Johnson memoir, Yasmin, okay?
Complete
and
waste
in
of time.
it, he says, when we got into that thing where we got the vaccine first for COVID, this takes us back, doesn't it? And then for some reason, some of the COVID vaccine which we had ordered was stuck in the Netherlands. Boris Johnson says he drew up a secret plan to invade the Netherlands using the SAS. I think you guys might have down tools. You might have done a John Barrowman at that point.
Yeah, Operation Stupidity would it have been called. I'm pretty sure that was a joke throwaway.
He lies. Why wouldn't we just accept Boris Johnson lies?
Well, he probably said it at a meeting.
As a joke.
Yeah.
But of course, his book is full of unreliable testimonies.
Is it?
Yeah.
You've read it, have you?
Of course. I've read bits of it.
Oh,
and he's
bits.
got millions and millions of pounds for it.
They might have mistaken it for a stag do, especially in holiday. If it was during the summer, you could have gone in with a subterfuge, loads of T-shirts on saying Gaz's second wedding.
But I think
Can I just
in a more
one
serious
question?
way, I'm just going to say that.
Question?
I'm just going to say, Boris telling a funny story about the SAS is all very well. People did die in the SAS serving this country, and I think it shouldn't be like a kind of a joke thing.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. To him, everything is a joke. But can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are they women in the SAS?
No. It's open to women. Women have actually tried. They're just not, at the moment, able to get through. However, what I will say is we have women that work alongside us in certain theatres of operation, and they are fearsome. They're unbelievable.
That's really interesting, though, because
that's a very good question. I'd assumed there weren't, but I've never really asked why not.
Women have actually tried, but no one's actually got through. I think eventually, if they keep going, somebody will get through. But
what's the hardest of the trial? Not that I'm thinking of doing it, but what's the hardest single thing?
Right, SAS selection is the jungle. You go to the jungle for 5 to 6 weeks. There's nowhere to hide. You're being watched 24 hours a day. It's just brutal. That's where the mental side of it.
And you have to hide, do you? Or
no, you talk very. What they're trying to do is see what your true character is. What you like under deprivation, cold, wet, uncomfortable, because that's what you're going to be in the regiment, with the work we do. So they're looking to see what your true character is. There's no image with the regiment. It's about you. And that's what the jungle decides. There's nothing special about the training in the jungle.
And the jungle is what, Borneo or something?
It's Brunei.
Brunei,
yeah, but you're in under the canopy, you're soaking wet, navigation's hard, the noise is horrendous. It's really uncomfortable. And you really do have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
I think we could say that possibly John Barrowman wouldn't actually make the cut. So, okay, I want to mention the Tory leaders as well, because there's been a bust up here. So one of them, Robert Jenrick, one of the 4 candidates, said this.
Our special forces are killing rather than capturing terrorists because our lawyers tell us that if they're caught, the European court will set them free.
So then Tom Tugendhat, another contender, said, wait a minute, you can't use that video because he knows the soldier in it.
Yeah.
And what's particularly upsetting is that video is using a piece of footage of some of the people I served with, one of whom there died shortly after that film was taken in an accident, and is not able to defend himself from the accusation that is effectively being levelled against him.
So that is actually footage?
Yes.
Of somebody you knew?
Yes, that's footage of a soldier in northern Afghanistan in around 2002.
What do you think of what Jenrick said, Billy?
I think it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I'll put it in the same bracket as Philip Shiner.
He's the lawyer, the dodgy lawyer.
Yeah, dodgy lawyer who lied about soldiers doing... Our job's hard enough. We need people supporting us, not bad mouthing. That is ridiculous. That statement is absolutely ridiculous.
Because his argument is because of European laws, human rights laws, soldiers don't want to capture people, they're going to kill them instead.
That's absolute nonsense. That would never, ever be said amongst our troops. Never. You know, we've gone up against...
Hang on a minute. Would it not be said, but done?
Never done. No,
okay.
Absolutely not done.
Okay.
No, I mean, we've gone into situations where we know these people have killed people. If they've put their weapons, that's it. They're done. They're arrested. They're taken down.
I think the problem is the politicians often like to rub up against the armed forces because it feels tough. You know, they like to wear the clothes of the image of it. But there's such a responsibility. You're vying to be the leader of a party, potentially the Prime Minister. That's deeply irresponsible, what he said there. What he's implied is beyond the pale. He's gone too far.
All right, stay with us, Billy. We'll take a look at what's in the papers. And I should say tickets to Billy's tour, Always a Little Further, are available now. Next show is Monday, the 14th of October. Here we are, St George's Concert Hall in Bristol. There we are, just so you know the date and location.
I do know it. Please come join me.
Get the compass out.
Have a great night.
So, yeah, I bet. I'd really like to see it, actually. OK, Daily Mail, page 2. Starmer is back on EU territory, saying we're going to make Brexit work. Brexit, using the B words around them, I would have thought was awkward. That's him with Ursula von der Leyen. And he is talking about... I mean, the Mail says caving in, Yasmin. That's the thing. He's caving in on fishing.
Ridiculous. How long are they going to go on with this rubbish? We know what the effect of this has been. And these are 2 things that are important. One, that young people should be able to travel freely between the European EU nations and us. Do you know, I work at a university. 1/3 of our students are gone because they can't come here.
Yeah. Who's he with there? Sorry, forgive me.
Good sense.
Is that... Oh, that's Roberta Mendoza.
I mean, but the thing we know about the EU is they don't give up anything for free, really. So Starmer said he's not going to move on the 3 core things of single market, customs, freedom of movement. I think, the movement of young people, if that's what the EU are interested in, it seems like they are, I think that's a compromise most people could live with. So if I was him, I'd just pretend that was a red line for a while and see what you can get out of it. Because if he does cave in, for using the Mail's words, on fishing, then that will play out badly for him in the British press.
We seem to have 2 groups of people in this country now. We've got a group of people who say Brexit was always going to be a disaster, and it is. And the second group who say they voted for it, it could have worked, but it's been done badly. And so both groups seem to agree it's not working. Yes. What do you think, Billy, out of interest?
Well, it's exactly that. It's been done badly.
Could it have worked?
I think it could have worked. Yeah, I do.
You've got to come out fast, slash taxes, and basically say to Apple, Starbucks, Google, Amazon, park yourselves here, you'll pay nothing.
Yeah.
But
we did. And that's the future you want for this country.
But we increased
that's the way to make it work.
We increased corporation tax to 25%, just at the point we could have been more competitive.
Yeah.
We whacked it up and made ourselves less attractive.
It was a terrible idea.
Couldn't we have got it right? Couldn't we have made it work?
No, it was a terrible idea
Slash
from day
taxes.
one, based on lies. Get over it and let's do something, especially for young people. Our young people want to go to their universities too,
I don't know, I think that's the middle class view of it, if I may say so.
No,
is that this is all about foreign travel for young people?
No, it's not foreign travel. Absolutely
It's
not.
if you're a plumber in Sunderland,
we had this
you're worried about
fantastic-
plumbers coming
Sorry,
here.
Jeremy, you're wrong. There was this, what was it called? I've forgotten what it was called. The project, Erasmus, which allowed for free, and actually Suella Braverman benefited from that. You could go to Europe, to any European university, experience it, learn, and your fees were paid. We really failed our young people.
Are you still in favour of Brexit, Jeff?
Well, look, I think that now is the time for compromises to be made. I don't know why the EU are so interested in the movement of young people, but if it's a chip that we can trade with, absolutely. But the idea that Starmer is the first person to say, let's improve ties with Europe, Sunak was already doing that with the Windsor framework. Even straight after Brexit, Boris Johnson said he wanted to do that. It's a question, it's not words now, it's actual movement on these things.
Yasmin, there's a story about the 900 fish dying mysteriously. I'm worried this is pollution.
Well, actually,
in one river.
My newspaper, they've been really being fantastic on the whole thing about the environment, damage to the environment, water quality and so on. And we should really worry about this, because this is a microcosm of what is probably happening in many parts of this country, some of the most beautiful parts of this country.
There is a discharge. There was a discharge by Anglian Water, and it was over a weekend, and then the fish floating. So you don't need to be Hercule Poirot to work out a connection, do you?
Absolutely. And we should care a lot more than we seem to care.
But then there's mention, I don't get it, it could be potatoes. They suddenly throw. It could be sewage. And I don't get how could it be potatoes, Yasmin? Can you explain
whatever
that?
it
Or
is.
it could be potatoes.
Anglian Water, we know, discharged sewage for 23 hours. Are we really now saying, it could be, I don't know, the stars were in the wrong place, or it could be, somebody threw some perfume. I mean, we know this happened.
Well, the potatoes is apparently a food processing plant which uses a lot of water and may have taken the oxygen out of the water so the fish couldn't breathe. Billy, what do you think?
Well, it's pollution, isn't it? Somebody's responsible.
Looks like it.
Yeah, I've been working with the Environment Agency, and the jobs they're doing, they just don't get the support to stop this stuff. Chemicals being dumped into the lakes and the rivers, the eels being taken out all the rivers, and the problem that's causing. And we pay lip service to it. I mean, that's it. All right, no one will talk about it again. But it really needs digging into. And who's responsible for this?
I'm always amazed when Labour were campaigning, they didn't do a bigger thing on sewage. They just say, if we get in, we're going to start, everyone's going to have galoshes on, and we're going to go in the rivers and damn well clean them up.
I mean, water pollution is having such a devastating effect, including, and listen to this, 3 men, sperm count.
Whoa.
Okay, take it seriously.
Did not expect that to go there.
No,
a minute ago we were on potatoes.
I thought you were making
now we're on
sperm count.
The,
Take
kind
it
of
seriously.
related.
I like the idea, though, that this article's 90% it's the water company, and then 10%, or it might be potatoes. Now, I mean, there's all kinds of, you're on a train and it's delayed, and it could be the train in front, or it could be potatoes.
It could be the potatoes.
Yeah.
Now, you said it like Poirot, but one of the weirder episodes, wasn't it? I blame the potatoes in the front room.
Living room scene with a potato in the armchair, yeah. Jeff, in the Telegraph, California has gone into trying to attack fake news.
Yes, I'm not sure that I should be talking about comedy after that comedy French accent. But yeah, they've gone. They've been accused of outlawing satire after passing a new law intended to clamp down on disinformation. So obviously we do have this very real problem online of people maliciously spreading disinformation. But there is, of course, jokes, right? And the thing about jokes is they tend to rely on hyperbole or exaggeration. So you will sometimes characterise politicians as saying things that they haven't said. You might have a meme of Keir Starmer, having a drink with Taylor Swift. It doesn't mean that he definitely had a drink with Taylor Swift. And my problem here is if you've got people judging what is a joke and what isn't, particularly based on the Tory leadership speeches yesterday, I'm not sure politicians are the best people to do that.
No, it's interesting. I don't know, because there's websites like The Onion, which, have I got news for you, is always making jokes. Whether they get caught up in this. But we know what they're aiming at. They're aiming at people who put out AI versions of Kamala Harris or whatever. Billy's got a story in the Telegraph. Poor health driving 8 million out of the workforce. Blimey.
Yeah, I mean, that's shocking, that number. I mean, the first thing I ask is why? What's the sickness? And straight away, it's obviously mental health and obesity. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the mental health situation. Everybody seems to talk to that nowadays have a problem of some sort that, you know, are they using it as an excuse or is it a real problem? And it's hard to define what is and what isn't, you know.
Well, there would certainly be a portion of that where people with a bit of encouragement could get back in the workplace. It's also obesity. I mean, if you wanted to be like optimistic about this, these are two things we could make a big impact on. And whoever was in government on this, if you want growth, this is the quickest and most lucrative way of growing GDP. Get people back to work.
It was your birthday, July 65, by the way.
Mine, June.
June 65. That's 1 month away from mine.
Is it really?
Can you believe that? We are the same age.
Same vintage.
Spring chickens.
I'm just having a moment because we got the best music, our generation.
Absolutely. We've got the best everything, I believe.
We exactly.
We have.
We got a little bit of the Beatles and the Stones, but more importantly, we got the full-on David Bowie.
Yeah.
And then music ended with the Smiths.
But then I had Oasis, so I got a bit more of the Beatles in some way, indirectly.
Objection.
The modern day Beatles.
Sorry, I had Elvis Presley and Cliff Richards.
Oh, we all love Elvis. Come on. Every generation.
Right,
Back to that sickness thing. I mean, I've got this app on my phone now, and every time I go to any supermarket, I scan what's in the food, and it's horrendous.
Yeah.
What's in food? And I don't understand how they're getting away with it. And this is causing a lot of problems.
Why don't you just delete the app then?
No. I want to eat healthy. I want my kids to eat healthy, my grandkids to eat healthy, not this nonsense. I don't know how this food gets through.
Yeah.
If you get
It's
just a
outrageous.
sealed sandwich, you start thinking, well, it's just bread, cheese and tomato, and then you find out it's got 17
But that's leading to a
other
lot of the problems
ingredients.
of the obesity and all the rest of it.
Could
This
well
junk
be,
food, and that should be stamped out. The
I'm
government should
starting
be
to
on that.
suspect it's Diet Coke, to be honest with you.
my God,
As Trump
poison.
said, I've never seen a thin person drinking it. And I think something's going on with that as well. People think that low-fat yogurt is negative, so you can eat low-fat yogurt and then you've got room for a pizza.
Do you remember
Yeah,
Diet Coke came,
burgers.
when Diet Coke became popular in the 80s, you'd see something, a massive fry-up with chips, but a Diet Coke?
Yes.
To cancel chips out. Yeah.
I thought it would make me slimmer, and on some level I still do.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Something's going on. OK, but you're right, Billy, the obesity thing comes up the whole time and goodness only knows what's going on. Yeah. The Guardian has the story about Daniel Day-Lewis, back from, I don't know if it's retirement, because he often takes 7-8 years off, learns to make shoes in Italy. He's a very interesting man, Daniel Day-Lewis. So he's at a 7-year retirement or break, and he is going to star in his son's debut as a director. He said, actually, he'd had a film called Phantom Thread. I didn't see Phantom Thread. I thought his last film was Lincoln.
No, the 2017 Phantom Thread, wasn't it?
He's a very strange actor.
It
Like
is.
him, Billy?
I think he's a good actor, yeah.
Method acting, though. When he played My Left Foot, he was insisted on being carried from his dressing room because he couldn't walk. Well, I mean, sorry, you could walk.
Yeah.
But that was the
He is a great actor. And it's funny, I was just saying last week to my husband, I said, where's Daniel Day-Lewis these days? What's happened to him? Because you never know, is he ill? And so I'm really pleased he's back. He is weird, no doubt.
Weird is good.
What's the film he's really well known for?
Well,
the Mohicans.
Mohicans,
Gangs of
Last
New
of
York as well.
Mohicans.
I mean, I'm judging him on that because that's really all I know of him.
It was
It must be a touch, though.
He is a good actor, there's no doubt about
If
it.
your old man, though, is Daniel Day-Lewis, like my old man, he was a safety officer for Merton Council. Whereas this guy, he's a writer, and go, oh, yeah, I think my dad's finished making shoes, he might be able to star in this.
I think Bowie's son, who I think was named Zowie Bowie when he was born, is now possibly called Duncan Jones or something. But he's a film director. But you wouldn't know it was Bowie's son. He doesn't call himself Bowie.
This is the old Nepo baby.
Well,
thing,
it is. It's Nepo, isn't it? Yeah. Billy, thank you so much for joining us.
No, it's been a pleasure.
Great to see another 1965er.
Gen X, let's do it.
And we
Save
are
planet.
Gen X. Let that be noted. We're not boomers.
Right.
That was the year before. Tickets to Billy's tour, Always a Little Further, are available now. We'll have